So again, thanks for coming. So we're here this evening because a very good friend of mine, Cheryl, made that appropriation bag that you see there behind Cheryl Miller, and I loved it, so I bought it. And now this is about 4-5 years later. She's developed the concept further into a legacy bag. And the thought behind the legacy bag is the idea of taking family pictures and memorializing them in an art object that you can pass on and create legacy with. And I just think it really is a brilliant idea. Now, I don't know all of Cheryl's history, but I do know that she's in the Smithsonian, and I know that she's in the Whitney. So we're talking about an artist that's recognized and honored by institutions. And I just thought it was just a wonderful opportunity to share with my friends the ability to get a piece of art that's unique, that's different, and at the same time gives you the ability to show off your family.
I want to thank you, Lola, for doing this for me tonight. It was really sweet of you to open up your home like this to everybody and to me, because I would really prefer to do this in an intimate setting, because it is an intimate project and it is an intimate type of sculpture. It's really about the people. And I started doing these bags. I called them appropriation bags because I was appropriating images from other artists, and that's an age-old thing that artists do, has gone on forever. Appropriating images, Warhol, everybody does it, and I chose to do it from art magazines and just images that would stick with me, that just like something about them resonated, and I chose to start creating these bags. And we were out in the country for the summer. I was away from my studio and all of my art supplies, and I just started getting crazy. And we had been shopping, and I had some shopping bags. I have this Chinese funerary paper, which I get in Chinatown. I started getting it when I was in San Francisco, and since I've moved here, I found it again in Chinatown here. And people burn it when someone dies, a family member dies, and that's a gift certificate or money for them in the afterlife. And I thought, wow, what a great connection to family, to the past, to the future, and to luxury, and to giving. And what does a shopping bag represent? It's different things to different people. But for me, it's almost like a vessel also in a way. And so I created what I feel is a vessel for your memories. And so what I did is I just one day decided I was going to do my family on the bag. And I did the picture. I went around my house and I pulled out a lot of pictures out of frames, and I made copies of them, and I put them in a folder to take them back out to the country with me. And that very next weekend, a woman came to my house and said, "Oh, I love that appropriation bag, but you know what? I want my family on one." And I thought, okay, too much coincidence here. This is a new thing. And immediately, it just, when she showed me the picture she picked, it was her grandfather with a protest sign, and now she's an international tribunal judge. I mean, it was just, I thought, legacy. And so that was how I came about with the name. Now, it's just a shopping bag, right? It really is truly a shopping bag, you guys. But I have decoupaged it, and I created it as a precious object by putting it in a box. Anything you see in a museum in a box, it could have been anything. It could be a basketball from Damien Hirst, or a shark, you know, I mean, from different artists. But once it's in a box and in a vitrine, then it becomes a precious object. It becomes an art object, and that was my concept of putting the bags. And also, this is a great way to protect them because they are paper after all. Even though I've put about 4 coats of varnish on them, they still are paper. And so I wanted them to be protected from the elements, and also protected from people touching them or, you know, handling them. So that was kind of the genesis of it, and that was how I've come up with this idea, and I really wanted to share it with other people. And I'm very inspired by the images and the ideas and the pictures that people send me, the stories they tell me when they give me the pictures. In this case, my friend whose mom passed away, and I know that her mother was a gardener and she loved to go camping, so I did pictures of the woods on the inside of it, and I found just a beautiful flower that I thought would be perfect for her small bag, because she only had 3 pictures that she could give me. Well, what does a shopping bag signify to some of you? What other things could it symbolize?
To have a legacy bag made out of a shopping bag, because it's such a simple thing, a shopping bag. We don't give it a second thought, or a brown paper bag. I was holding this thinking, this is a brown paper bag. So there's something metaphorical, I think, in the fact that you could take something so simple and make something so precious out of it, which is really a metaphor for life.
Yeah, and it's almost literal too, because the shopping bag, your life is just this collection of things that you're putting in your bag, and that bag sort of symbolizes that, all the memories that you've collected over the year, over the years that we're all carrying around with us, in one way or the other, good and bad.
I see bags, what is it? It's paper. It's not really permanent, but I've made it permanent in a way too. So I every time I think about them, I come up with new things. And as an artist, you really just follow your spirit and you just go with your creative force. And as time goes on, it reveals itself to you what it's about.
An act of love, a ritual of love that happens with it, because somebody may come to your house and you may have some leftovers, and you put the food you've made with love in the shop, and they say, oh, take some food home. And I have a lot, sometimes I give friends clothes, and says, going through my closet, something doesn't fit anymore, and they need, they're in need, and you put it in a bag. So oftentimes the reuse of a bag has a loving moment attached to it. And also, reusing of a bag is like, you take something very utilitarian and make something very beautiful of it, which is in a lot of places around the world where art is used in its more, beauty is used not to be celebrated or put a high price tag on it necessarily, but art is used in a very utilitarian way. So this is almost a meshing of the utilitarian use of beauty with the high art way of beauty. It's like in between two worlds, the use of art.
I love that.
Bags are interesting too, because they are the gateways for families that are separated by distance. And whenever you travel from one country to the other country, there's always a bag. And sometimes in our bag, we just put our favorite lunch or dinner that our mom made us, or something we need, we found something at the last minute. But it's those bags that kind of have more travel in us, and so your whole legacy thing is a travel across time. But the bags that we use often are a travel across distance. So I think that's kind of cool.
I don't know why we all say bags, because I do too. The process is personal too, because some people are more involved than others, but primarily that's the starting point, is selecting what size bag you want, and then the pictures that you give me and the stories you tell me, why you pick those pictures of what this is about. And I really love it if people have words that they want to give me as well. Is there a poem that you liked, or is there a saying that your grandfather always said that you want to memorialize that was driving you crazy then, but now you miss it? Or there, like with Gordon, he writes music, and so we're talking about some of the words from his music or the actual original manuscripts that he wrote, and making copies and putting those on the inside of the bag. So it's a personal situation, but as you said, as the artist, I want you to give over to me those memories and then let me bring them back to you in this new form.
As to the choice of material, I think there is a certain poetic beauty to giving permanence to something so fragile. Paper's a good choice. It's actually it's not that fragile, but we sort of think of it as an impermanent material. But it is a beautiful thing to give it some real permanence. And properly handled, paper can last a very long time. Obviously, you've gone through a whole varnishing process and everything else, but it is rather a beautiful thought, I think. Normally, we give permanence to things which are quite permanent.
Those of you who I have not met, my name's Courtney Sloan, and I have a 17-year-old interior design company here in New York. Cheryl is my wife and partner and just really my muse. And so it is really inside of really her creating these bags which has me very inspired to be here and to be a part of the project with her. We do collaborate sometimes on different projects with her, sort of designing specialty pieces of furniture or consulting with us on different art projects. But in this instance, it was just such a long history of the bags and coming from the appropriation bags and them evolving into the legacy bag. And what I really want to share with all of you is that this project, this is actually our very second event, our very second legacy bag event. And just really thank all of you so much for just taking the time to be here tonight.